All right. I've been hearing a lot of things from buyers that I work with directly and also buyers from buyers agents that I work with across the aisle when I have a listing. And I'm hearing a lot of questions and concerns be repeated in this market. And, you know, to all my friends and clients and subscribers, I want to make sure that you're best educated so that you can make the most informed decision possible when it comes to buying or selling a home. So right now we're going to work on the buying aspect of it, because right now that's where a lot of people really feel squeezed. They feel like they're really pushed out of the market. So I want to address some of these questions. For instance, one of them is that the interest rates right now are very high. That's a very common one. It's widely known that rates, you know, are now either just below or right at about 7%. And the Fed is going to be meeting, and we're expecting another 3/4 point rate hike. So we're looking at rates getting over 7.5% before things start tapering down. And again, by the way, that is what I'm hearing from everyone in the industry, everyone related to finance, mortgages, everything, that we are expecting one more rate hike and then to tamper down. I've actually heard some rumors about, oh man, our rates going to 10%, things like that. No, I want to assuage your fears there. So we're looking at one more rate hike, probably 3/4 point, and then we're going to start to taper down because the rate hikes will have taken their desired effect. In fact, they're probably going to overshoot the runway, but that's a whole nother story. So interest rates are high, very true. For the past nearly 20 years, these are the highest rates we've seen. And, you know, that makes a big difference. I was pricing things out with a client earlier this week, and I was showing a $500 a month payment difference from 5% to 7%, which means that that extra 2% for their loan, it works out to a $500 a month payment extra. That's $6,000 a year. That's $12,000 for 2 years. And that's a number that I want to key on, 2 years, because I fully expect in 2 years, based on everything that I've heard, our interest rates getting back down, these mortgage rates getting back down to around 5%. So let's say you get a loan at 7% now, and then you can refi in 2 years for 5%. That works out to, when you're talking about a $400,000 loan, that works out to, again, $500 a month, $6,000 a year, $12,000 for that 2 years, okay? $12,000 on a $400,000 property, that's a 3% difference. So basically, that is a buyer kind of wagering that if I wait 2 years, that property will be worth less than 3% more, if that makes sense, right? Because that's what they'd be paying in interest versus, you know, what they would be doing in waiting, you know. So in the meantime, maybe they rent, and I've actually got a program that I want to speak to about that, about the flexibility of renting and buying. But for this scenario, in the meantime, they wanted to rent, and in a year or two, they're going to buy. And again, that's wagering that property in that time won't recover and appreciate, you know, more than 1.5% in 1 year and 3% in 2 years. And that, in my opinion, is a risky proposition, because just looking at it from the total interest rate, the total amount of interest extra that you're going to be spending, that doesn't factor in that's a tax write-off. So whatever tax bracket you're at, you're going to get that back at the end of the year. So that $12,000 over 2 years can easily become $10,000. And then that doesn't factor in the money that you're not putting to pay down that loan while you live in it, that's being put into a rental, which is essentially lost, right? So out of that $3,500 a month payment, you know, over the course of 2 years, there's going to be several $1,000s you're paying down your mortgage over that time frame that is lost. So let's take that $10,000 down to say now $6,000. So basically now you're looking at a proposition of that property increasing 0.75% over 1 year or 1.5% over 2 years, which I see is very risky. I would fully expect any property in North Texas to appreciate 3% within 3 years. Within 2 years. I mean, that's a good amount of time in a market. And in a recession, most recessions last about 18 months. We're already about 6 months or more into this recession. So we're looking at, maybe a year on the outside, a year and a half left on this recession. You're going to be well out of it by that time. So that, I think, is maybe not the best way to look at it in terms of just the interest rates high. But hey, that's not the only argument I hear.